Good morning. My name is Mary Jean, and I am a member of this congregation. Welcome to Shawnee Mission Unitarian Universalist Church. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here. We are so happy that you've chosen this YouTube channel, this Sabbath, this sanctuary and time. We know that you have so many options on Sunday morning, and that you chose to be here is something we celebrate. We extend an especially warm welcome to our visitors and anyone who may be watching our service online for the first time. Please complete our Get in Touch form online by clicking the link below our description, and we now invite everyone to greet each other in any way you can with elbows. If you're here online, please say hi in the chat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It is good to be together again. And now, Rev Rose has a few more announcements.
Good morning. If you are a newcomer to our church, please consider attending our Just the Basics class immediately following the service today. This is a 30-minute overview of Unitarian Universalism and this congregation, and will give you a chance to ask questions and meet other folks. So today after the service, grab a cup of coffee and look for Jim Christ in the foyer, who will be waiting to visit with you and take you to the Sager room. And now we have a quick announcement from the 8th Principal Learning Team.
Good morning. As announced at the May 22nd service, the 8th Principal Learning Team is expanding and seeking new team members. It is reorienting to focus on congregational relationship building and exciting learning opportunities informed by the 8th Principal founders and UUs across the United States. So if you would like to join us, please do so directly after the service in the boardroom, which is just down the hall. Just down the hall from Reverend Rose's office. Thank you.
Thomas Aquinas said that to love is to will the good out of the other. Come, let us worship. Please rise as you are willing and able for our opening hymn, Number 361, with drums, enter rejoice and come in.
Okay, I'm gonna go this way.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Woo!
As my daughters, Eliza Jean and Amelia May, come forward to light our chalice, we invite you to join us as we recite our covenant. That's printed on the wall behind us. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with one another.
Could I have all the children come forward, please, and come visit with me up here? Hi, guys. You all are looking delightful and wonderful today. Hi. Welcome to church, guys. How's everybody doing? Good. Well, today I want to start out by reminding you all something that you probably know, which is that sometimes we humans have big feelings. Do you guys ever have really big feelings? Get frustrated, really happy, maybe really nervous about something? Well, usually when we have those really big feelings, it's because it's something that we really care about. So like, for example, maybe you're really excited to see your new puppy because you really want to see your new puppy because you really care about it. Well, today, the grown-ups, after you all go to your classrooms, are going to be talking about something that we have really big feelings about, which is our world and our government. And we are hoping today in our service to process some of those really big feelings we have about how we want to ensure a safe society, because that matters a lot to us. Because today we are talking about democracy. Do you guys know what a democracy is? Yes, 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 and no. Well, basically, a democracy is where everybody gets to vote, hypothetically. But in this situation, indeed, everybody does get to vote. So today, we're going to vote on something. So when you leave the sanctuary, you either get to go out the regular door, or you get to go out the irregular door. Whoa. I know. Whoa. Okay, so who wants to go out this door? Raise your hand. Just, okay, boring. Okay, try again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Who wants to go out the irregular door? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wow, mixing it up. We must really be dragging here if going out the irregular door. Okay, that is what we're going to do. But before you do that, we are going to do something that is always helpful when you have a big emotion, which is a ritual and singing. So this is an old labor organizing ritual that I learned in my labor organizing day. And we do this because it reminds us that time passes, that this too shall pass, and that each and every single person has inherent worth and dignity and is important. Okay, so for this, I'm going to need your help. Kids, we need to figure out who is the youngest person here. How old are you, Ezra? Okay, 4. 4. You're 6. Margaret? Okay. Ooh, 6.5, everyone. Okay, Amelia, when's your birthday? When's Amelia's birthday? November. Okay. Dimitri, do you know Ezra's birthday? I think you're 14. Okay, so I think that it's Ezra, right? Okay. And I see the parents of a 2-year-old have just walked in, but they don't have him. Okay. All right. So now, parents of Ezra, I need your permission or your accompaniment, if one of you wouldn't mind coming up here. And now we're going to figure out who is the oldest. Who, not amongst us, you are certainly not the oldest person in this room. I have my eyes on some people, but I'm not going to call them out. Who thinks they might be the oldest person in this room? You think it's Sue? You think it's Chet? Okay, Chet, how old are you? Wait, how old are you? 90. Sue, how old are you? Ooh! Sue is 94. Okay. Okay, Miss Sue Hamilton, if you're able, would you mind coming up here with us? Thank you. You are in great shape. I am just, okay. Okay, you can't see, so let's move. And then we're going to have Miss Sue sit right here. Okay, and then Mr. Ezra. Shannon, I'm sorry, you have to move. Ezra, would you just sit right here? Okay. And now we are going to sing over you, and Neil is going to lead us in that.
Yes, and the words will be up on the screen. Let's go for it. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To every
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ezra. Thank you, Sue. Shannon, would you please help Sue get back to her seat? Thank you so much for participating. And now, kids, the moment has finally arrived where you get to go out of the irregular door. So let us sing them out. This week, as our media outlets recount the events of January 6th, as we witness rights being taken away and prepare for another election cycle, we remember that the fifth principle of Unitarian Universalism is the right of conscience and the use of democratic process within our congregations and society at large. Today we have a special portion of our service dedicated to this democratic process as it relates to our faith. We have 4 members of our church here today who have found that their faith greatly supports and enlivens their civic involvement. They have generously offered to each speak briefly about their experiences in hope that you will be called into action with them, that through your faith community, you will find avenues towards involvement in the wider world to alchemize your outrage into action. So we will start with Bernie Norcott Mahaney, who is standing in for Logan Healy, who is an elected official and a child of this church, but unfortunately has COVID. He's doing fine.
My name is Logan Healy, and I've been attending, wow. I hope my service on comedy goes that well. My name is Logan Healy, and I've been attending this church since I was a kid. In my spare time, I'm also a city council member in Overland Park and active with political campaigns. I'm here to talk about democracy, which is integral to our UU faith as outlined in our fifth principle. In Kansas, we have elections that we all need to vote in every August and every November. Not every 4 years, not every even year. In Kansas, we vote every August and every November. When do we vote in Kansas? August and November. Every August and every November. We're going to do a little Q&A. I'll ask a question and then I'll count down from 3. Then say out your answer aloud if you are comfortable doing so. Who is the President of the United States? Okay, so no conspiracy, good. Who is your U.S. representative in Congress? Who is the governor of your state? Who is the mayor of your city? Okay, it's not a hyphenated name. Sadly, it's not the last part of his name. Okay. Who is your state rep in the legislature, the state legislature? We're getting quieter. Also, it's more diffuse now. Who represents you on your local school board? And then finally, because I am one, who is or who are, you may have more than one, your city council members? That's it. Each offertory, we say that the work of the church depends on us. The work of our democracy also depends on us. As people who have been blessed with the responsibility of democracy, it is our duty to be informed and engaged members of our community. Knowing our elected officials is important. Voting is important, but going beyond those basic aspects of democracy is essential. Attend a city council meeting, register other people to vote, pick a local political candidate you care about, and help them with your time, talent, and treasure. The help you can provide a local candidate may be one of the most powerful things you can do as an individual in our democracy. If you need help getting involved in our democracy, you're welcome to contact me or Logan Healy. The work of our democracy, I can speak more about Missouri. The work of our democracy depends on us. Give generously.
And now I'll invite Allison Palanis forward.
I'm a cradle Unitarian Universalist, a lifelong UU who grew up attending churches in Colorado and Georgia. I became less involved, as is often the case, through college and starting my career, and eventually marrying and starting a family. My kids did preschool and other programs for young families at a wonderful local Presbyterian church, which thankfully only had minimal religious undertones. But I've always known my spiritual home in Kansas City was to be at SMUUCh. My children were still very young when the election of 2016 happened, and, like many, I felt moved to get more involved politically. I started reaching out to my network, and my stepsister-in-law, who, as it turns out, also attended SMUUCh at times in her life, put me in touch with my first connection in the local political world. I attended meetings, joined groups, and tried to do whatever I could to make a difference in any way. I met amazing people from all parts of Johnson County, and we all worked in our own ways to advance progressive causes and get good people elected at all levels. It hasn't been easy, and there always hasn't been the success we'd like, but I believe that my profound belief in our UU principles allows me to keep working in the face of uphill battles and daunting odds. I cannot sit back and watch as elected officials at all levels try to pass legislation, and sometimes succeed, and make decisions that directly violate those principles. In early 2020, my children were old enough that I felt like I finally had my act more together, and my family started attending services at SMUUCh when we were able. I was so incredibly pleased to discover that many of my political friends were members here, which made me feel instantly at home. Now, our family's timing was not great, as we never got very connected or in any kind of routine before our worlds were all changed in March of 2020. It took my now 8-year-old coming home mentioning God and vaccines for him and his 6-year-old sister to get us coming and trying to engage regularly. Many of the members I was excited to see when I first came to SMUUCh have since run for office, now serve in the Kansas legislature, and, like me, now manage political campaigns instead of volunteering for them. While we celebrated the election of Governor Laura Kelly and Representative Sharice Davids and others, and we're thankful for their guidance and decisions, there is so much more to be done and so much more at stake this year. We would love to have you join us to make sure we have a Kansas and world that reflects what we all believe as Unitarian Universalists.
And now I'd like to invite Dr. Mike Schimmel forward.
Unlike the previous two speakers, Carol and I are just toddlers in SMUUCh and into the Universalist Unitarian Church. But our lives have been of service, and in a way that service brought us here. Our adult lives have been working in education, and our calling to serve has been even longer. As educators, and even before to our days in college, we were drawn to issues pertaining to social justice for everyone, voter rights, gun safety, health care for everyone, and international and domestic conflict, and a person's right of determining their own bodily autonomy. Advocacy for such issues drew us to the Democratic Party, and it was about 3 or 4 years ago we first attended a Johnson County Democratic Convention here at the church. We also attended several March Forward Kansas City events at this location. We had been raised in churches, albeit a polar difference in structure and liturgy. Carol being raised in the Catholic Church, and I in an evangelical church, but each in its way told us to believe a very narrow ribbon of faith, and to a degree questioned some of our individual beliefs. Yet it was during those events that we walked around and looked at the murals, available materials, and we saw the covenant. Love is the doctrine. Quest for truth, sacrament. Service is its prayer. As a result, we came as visitors for a month or so, listening to the words of Reverend Rose, meeting others who were like-minded, and enjoyed the songs of Anna. We discovered a church where its covenant was more than words, and its faith lasted beyond just a Sunday morning. And we actually found in actions each and every day beliefs of this faith. It is here we found a church that encouraged acceptance of others instead of condemnation. We found a church where each individual's journey in life is honored and encouraged. We found a church where service is valued. For Carol and I, such was our mission in our life for over 50 years of marriage, to make our world just a little bit better for not only our children and God and our grandchildren, but for children and grandchildren of everyone. Whether it's running for the Kansas House of Representatives, canvassing our precinct, or sharing our garden fruits and vegetables with our neighbors, service was our calling. Such is that we have found encouragement and support in this house of worship, and we want to thank you.
And now I'll invite up Don Skinner, lastly.
I have been a member here about 25 years. I have been meeting my neighbors this spring. It's not my favorite thing to do, since at heart I am really an introvert, but I'm doing it. And as I do it, I am warming to those neighbors. We talk politics, mostly. Now, politics is a taboo subject in many social situations, but when you stand on someone's porch and they open the door and there you are and you start to talk politics, that's when you quickly get to know them. And it turns out a lot of those people want to talk about politics. They have been waiting for someone like me. They are disgusted with the state of the country, the insurrection, the school shootings, the efforts to destroy public education, the restrictions on voting, the disregard for truth, the attempts to control women's bodies, and they want to talk about it. They are happy to know that someone is out there sharing the good news that democracy might yet indeed survive. There are times when what we do in the world matters more than at other times. This is one of those times. I have come to a hard truth this spring, and it is this. The elections this year in August and November, and the presidential election in 2 years, are the last opportunities to save democracy. I hope I'm wrong, but that's how I see it. After that, if things don't go the right way, we will be ruled by authoritarians. I don't know how else to put it. I say this not to alarm you, but to invite you. invite you to help tend the garden of democracy. There are lots of ways to do that. Some people go door to door, others work for candidates by doing database work, preparing campaign mailings, or writing postcards. Others work at a phone bank or at polling places on election day, ensuring that everyone gets to vote. Democracy is a spiritual issue for me. I believe we are on this earth to help each other. The country needs the values of those of us in this room and those watching online. We are the people who can make a difference.
Thank you to all of our speakers. I appreciate you making the time to come here, and to the people who organized you in getting you here, and to all of you who are registered to vote and who are participating in this wider social process of democracy. Poet Amanda Gorman said, "Know what we've fought need not be forgot, nor for none. It defines us, binds us as one. Come over, join this day just begun, for whenever we come together, we will forever overcome." I invite you now into a moment of reflection and meditation. I invite you to close your eyes. Put your feet flat on the floor. This is the time in our service when we draw to heart and mind those in our midst who are suffering, those who are unrepresented. I invite you to take a deep breath into your belly. As the world swirls and aches and breaks around us, let us more dearly cherish this moment of quiet, of safety, this day unmarred by war. Let us move ourselves into a space of openness. When the mind wants to shut out the future for fear, when the soul cowers at the demands of the work ahead, let us more deeply breathe and release these beliefs and instead ground into our big, beautiful blue boat, our earth. For wherever we come together, we will forever overcome. Let us release these heavy burdens. Let us find equanimity in the midst of fear, in the midst of anxiety, in the midst of anger. I invite you to let the corners of your lips turn up. You may open your eyes. As always, we rejoice over the exquisite beauty and goodness in this world, no matter how big or small each piece of beauty might be. And now I invite you to come forward and briefly share in 2 to 3 sentences before we sing our meditative hymn, a rare joy or a profound sorrow, and light a candle.
Hi, I'm Dale Trott, and lighting a candle of sorrow for my I have a younger brother, 2 years younger, lives in St. Louis. He had a bad fall down the stairs to his basement this week. Slipped on some slippery socks all the way down and really messed up his shoulder and his hip. And so he's in a lot of pain right now, and I feel for him. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Charlie. I wanted to light a candle of joy for community and togetherness. This weekend, KC Pride Fest is happening. I went out there yesterday, and it was just beautiful to see so many queer people thriving and being together. And during some of the performances, there was a beautiful double rainbow in the sky, and it was just a really magical experience.
I light the remaining candles for all the joys, sorrows, hopes, fears, celebrations that remain unspoken in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts.
Please rise as you are willing and able for Blue Boat Home. Lo, below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can stay. I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Thomas Aquinas said, that to love is to will the good of the other. This is an idea that he was given through his studying of Aristotle, who before him was largely lost on the world except for in the Islamic community. Aristotle named the highest form of love as wanting for someone what one thinks is good for their sake and not for your own, and being inclined as far as one can to do such things out of love. And it is this highest love, this most altruistic and evolved love that calls us out of our smallness and into spaces and situations where we are willing to risk, to grow, to make ourselves vulnerable because we want to be connected to that highest love. Now, what I really appreciate about Aquinas's quote, that love is to will the good out of the other, is that it implies that the other isn't always good. It implies that you actually love things that you don't like. As Dr. King said, to like something is merely a sentiment. But to love something is to see it for what it could be, to see the good inside of it. For ultimately, love is not based in feeling. You don't love something because it's perfect. You love it because it has within it something complex and good and beautiful. Therefore, love isn't what you do because of your feeling. Love is what you do in spite of your feeling. Love isn't what you do because of what you're feeling. Love is what you do in spite of your feeling. I see many people in our communities who are paralyzed with fear around what is happening in our country. But love is not what you do because of what you're feeling. Love is what you do in spite of what you're feeling, because you want to will the good out of someone. Because after all, love is a choice. It is the will to believe something into its most beautiful iteration. And this is woven perfectly into our Unitarian Universalist theology. Because we believe that there is always a possibility of reform. We believe that we should condemn no one. We do not give hell, we give hope. We have faith in the inherent worth and dignity of every single person. And thus we are called, even in times like this, to love, even when the world could make us hate. Even when we see hate in the world. Even when we see people doing despicable things and we lose our faith, our precious faith in humanity. Even when we are nose to nose with a nightmare, our Unitarian Universalist faith calls us to openness and to love. It calls us to look upon, indeed, this nation and love it, to will the good out of it, even if we don't like it, even if there are things about it that seem irrevocably broken. It's to gaze upon it with its grotesque history and to call forth within that history the legacy of those who always kept at the beating heart of the American story the fairness and the goodness, those who held true to the processes such as democracy. It's to look and to see those who have fought and organized and walked from door to door and given money and protest and exercised their rights and taken risks and spoken up and thrown their love at something so massive and complicated and just willed it to be better. Those who, in spite of their feelings, have loved us into our own best society that we can be. Now, I didn't know if I was going to say this, but I think I will. There is a very strong Unitarian Universalist history in American history. Many of the early founding fathers and many of the people who signed the Declaration of Independence were Unitarians or Universalists. And this is something that for me, as we now struggle with much of that legacy, I struggle with. But I am a Unitarian Universalist preacher, and I do stand on those shoulders. And so I am thinking very hard about what values did they have that I want to carry forward, and who are the people in our legacy who I'm very proud to be a part of. And I encourage you also to be thinking about your own Unitarian Universalist for parents and thinking through who are the people. And I can tell you, we have quite a few amazing people in our legacy. That'll be another sermon. The Dalai Lama says to choose love every day, that's what he does. He wakes up and he decides he's going to be compassionate and loving because it makes a better world. And it's time for us to make this choice, to choose the love of our neighbor, to choose a love of those who are not represented, those who cannot vote. It's time for us to move from outrage into action, from despondency into getting involved. It's time to put our money where our mouths are, to build coalitions. It's time for all of us to call the young adults in our lives and demand proof of their voter registration. And it's time for us to vote ourselves. If not now, tell me when. So in the words of Amanda Gorman, come over. Join this day just begun. For wherever we come together, we will forever overcome. This country has an incredible legacy of organizing, and our religion has often been at the heart. There will be a table in the fellowship hall after the service where you can get connected to your representatives or even just ask, how can I be involved? This is a space and a day that I hope turns that frown upside down so that we can get ourselves moving and shaking and making that choice to every day love, deciding that together you and me can will goodness into this world. Blessed be, and amen.
The work of the church depends on us, our generosity of time, wisdom, and financial resources. We invite you to give generously to support the ongoing work of the church The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared values. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry with us in our hearts until we are together again.
Our closing hymn is going to look a bit different. This is a song by Carrie Newcomer, and we are going to collectively learn the refrain, and then Rev Rose will lead us in the spoken verses. So the choir knows it, our instrumentalists know it. We're going to do it 3 times together, and then we'll launch in, okay? If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment, a place and time again. If not now, tell me when. Give it a try. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment, or place and time again. If not now, tell me when. Once more. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment, or place and time again. If not now, tell me when.
I see sorrow and trouble in this land. Although there will be struggle, we'll make the change we can. If not now, tell me when.
If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me
So we'll work until it's done, everyone, every soul that ever longed for something better, something brighter.
If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place and time again. If not now, tell me when.
It will take a change of heart for this to mend, but miracles do happen every shining now and then. If not now, tell me when.
If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place and time again. If not now, tell me when. Once more. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place and time again. If not now, tell me when.
Can I get a cheer for Cash for bringing us the drums? This week, I invite you to think about your own voter registration and call your young people and demand that proof of theirs. Go in peace.